When man first started to fly, he didn't travel very far, so old forms of navigation would suffice. Large post-war propliners would navigate with a sextant, but the jet age soon made it apparent that another source of navigation was needed. After some success with Doppler and LORAN, Delco introduced the Inertial Reference System. For this tutorial, we will fly from Miami International, Florida to Provo in the Caicos Islands. Here we are on the ramp. Before I like to set up the flight, I like to go to fuelplanner.com where you can get a load sheet for your aircraft. So click on the aircraft type, the 727-200. Click on the origin airport and type it in. Now enter in the destination airport. And you get two choices here, just the planner or the load sheet. I like to print up the load sheet. On the load sheet it will show, first of all, your payload in total at the bottom there, and the takeoff fuel required. So that's the amount of fuel you're going to load on board the aircraft. So now we'll set up, power on. Now we'll turn the panel lights on, the overhead lights on, conduct all of the overhead panel checks, make sure that the mode selector unit is in the off position.
Light flow.
The Inertial Reference System is split into two main parts, the MSU Mode Selector Unit, which includes the Mode Selector knob, the ready light which tells you when it's aligned, and the battery light. In this picture, below the Mode Selector Unit, we find the Control Display Unit. The CDU consists of two display screens that show the coordinates in a north, south and east-west fashion, a regular keypad for data entry, a smaller display to tell you where the receiver is navigating to, and finally a bit selector knob. To select a direction on the keypad, you will see that the numbers 2, 4, 6 and 8 have a wind direction next to them, corresponding to north, west, east and south. Returning to the main panel, select the INS control display unit. Now select position with the data selector switch. Select standby on the mode selector knob. Now the CDU should display the last position of the aircraft. Use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl Z to bring up your aircraft's current position. Next you want to make sure that the waypoint DME selector switch is set to 0. You're now ready to write down the aircraft's current position. Just note as well that you've got to drop the last figure. We'll enter in the latitude now. Press the 2 key for north, then enter 25, 47, 5. Press insert. That's rounded down the last number to 4, but that's okay. When entering in the longitude, you should have 3 figures in the degrees. So in this case it would be 080, not 80 as Flight Sim has shown. So we'll enter in 080. Once again, make sure you drop the last of the seconds. Press the 4 button to select west and then enter in 080-176, followed by insert. You'll get the warning light come on. What that means is that you are starting the INS in a different position, a dramatically different position to the last coordinates that were entered into it. So to get rid of that warning, just press the test button twice. You can now flip the mode selector knob to align to start the alignment process. When moving between off standby and align nav, the mouse button must be held down for about 2 seconds before the switch moves. This simulates pulling the knob above its mechanical stops. Select desired track status on the CDU. This will show the status codes in the right display. The first digit is the performance index. The second digit is the desired performance index, so the first digit will have to drop to this number before the INS system can be put into nav mode. Here is a copy of today's flight I've printed up using Flight Sim Commander. First thing I do is go through and number the waypoints 1 to 9 and then repeat for any additional waypoints. If you don't have software like Flight Sim Commander, you can actually bring up the Flight Sim Flight Planner, the built-in one, and it shows the waypoints there with the latitude and longitude. Now we're going to enter in our waypoints for the flight. So select waypoint on the CDU and then move the waypoint switch to number 1. You can now enter in the waypoint for skips. So that skips was north 2533 1 by west 079163. Hitting insert. Now move the waypoint switch up to number 2 and we can enter in the next waypoint, which was Ray J. So that's north 25180, insert, west 078111. And insert. Third waypoint, and so on and so on. And now we're entering in waypoint number 9. Once you've entered that in, go through and check all your waypoints against your flight plan. 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. And those of you with eagle eyes may notice I do actually have an error there in 9, which I didn't pick up, so it shows how well I checked. As you can see, we're only down to 85 on the systems page, so there is a little cheat. As with everything in life, I enjoy a little bit of a cheat. If you go back up to the MSU, there's a little hidden click spot in the top right hand corner. If you click on that, you'll actually enable a fast alignment that will align the system within a couple of seconds. So let's click on that. As you can see, we're now down to 65, 55, so that's good enough for our alignment. So we'll get, as you can see, the ready lights come on. Now click from alignment to nav. And the system's aligned and ready to operate.
Knots.
We're well established into our climb now out of Miami, heading towards the first waypoint of Skips. At the moment the yellow alert button has come up on the CDU. What that means is that we're within 2 minutes of the next waypoint. The display on the left hand side shows 9 nautical miles. We're actually 8 nautical miles to run to Skips, and the display on the right is saying that we're just over a minute to run. When we get within about 5 nautical miles of Skips, I'm going to turn the autopilot to INS mode so it can follow instructions from the INS. There we go, so we've switched over to the INS on the autopilot now. If you look just below the insert button on the CDU, you'll see the numbers 0 to 1. Let's say we're tracking to our first waypoint. Shortly we'll hear a chime and that will change over from 1 to 2. There we go, that's the chime there. So we're now tracking from Skips to Ray J. By selecting track ground speed, I can put our track to the next waypoint into the HSI. I'm also going to send the nav1 off frequency just to stop the course deviation indicator from showing. We've just overflown Donez, which was waypoint 4, and we're now heading towards waypoint 5, which is Garot. Just adjusting the HSI to our new track. Because we're now heading between waypoints 4 and 5, it means that waypoints 1, 2 and 3 can be overridden. We can program in the last 3 waypoints for our flight, being Bitler, MICAS and MEPAV. So we'll select waypoint number 1. Click waypoint. There's the old Skips. So to override that, it's just the same as you would enter in for the first time. So we now want Bitler, which is north 221420. Insert west 072401. And we've now overridden the very first waypoint to put in Bitler. We can do the same for MICAS. Don't worry about the alert there, that's just because we're within 2 minutes of waypoint 5. As you can see there, it's only 10 nautical miles. And now we can select number 3 in the waypoint window, and that will allow us to enter Provo in. Provo is north 2146 3, insert, west 072156. Insert. You'll note when I select waypoint 4 that the waypoint is flashing and waypoint 5 is flashing. That's just telling me that those are the two current live waypoints, so we're travelling between waypoints 4 and 5. While we're here in cruise, I'm just going to run through some of the functions of the data selector switch. First of all, the one we've been using a bit, the track ground speed. So the left window shows the current track to the next waypoint, and the right window shows the ground speed. Next we have the heading drift angle, so it's showing the current heading related to true north, and the drift angle relative to the wind from 0 to 180 degrees. Right, we have the cross-track error and the track error. The left display shows the cross-track distance in nautical miles, and the right display shows track error with respect to desired track angle. When we select pause, of course we've used that already, the left display shows the aircraft latitude and the right display shows the longitude. Using the Flight Sim keyboard shortcut Control Z allows us to bring up the current latitude and longitude of the simulator. As you can see, these compare exactly the same with what's on the INS, showing we're all in the right direction. Next is the waypoint. Is where you can enter in the latitude and the longitude of any waypoint. You can also go through and check them against your flight plan. When we select distance and time, the left display shows the distance to the next waypoint, and the right display shows the time in decimals, so 5 minutes, 5.6 minutes to the next waypoint, which is 44 nautical miles away. If we select wind, it's showing 22 degrees at 22 knots. So the left shows the degrees and the right shows the knots. Once again, we can compare that using the Control Z shortcut, and it shows 22. And lastly, we've got the desired track and the systems page. The INS has now set us up on the 10 DME arc for the VOR DME runway 10 approach into Provo. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the landing.
Wind shear. Wind
1,000.
shear. Wind shear. $500. $400. Minimum. $300. $200. $100. 50. 50. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.